Hello and welcome back to my video channel. I guess I'm going to call it a channel, my Facebook page. I am delighted to be able to share with you today a visit that I had to the brand new building for the Tennessee State Library and Archives. It is fantastic, and I wanted to, tell my story of my visit today because when it comes to telling our family stories, we need to tell the stories that we're involved in too, right? Not just the stories of our ancestors. So that's what I wanted to do today. If you don't know me, my name is Tania Kuntz, and I'm a genealogist, and I love helping others get inspired with their family history work. And while they're doing it, stay organized with their digital photos, videos, and documents. So today I had the honor of attending the ribbon cutting and the grand opening celebration of the Tennessee State Library and Archives here in Nashville. And it was so fantastic. I felt just overjoyed to be there and to benefit and to participate in the excitement of everyone in this grand opening. So I actually have some pictures that I want to share and a couple of video clips because I want you to see, get a glimpse into it if you're not able to visit anytime soon. The Tennessee State Library and Archives is now located off of Bicentennial Mall here in Nashville, and Bicentennial Park and Mall. And so I have some pictures that I want to share. So what I am going to do is bring it up. Now let's see if I can control all these navigations like I need to. All right, so we'll give this a try. So if you're watching, love it, give me a heart, a like, or love, or what I know you're tuning in. If you're from the Nashville area, let me know because I can definitely answer any questions that you may have about visiting, or at least refer you to the State Library staff. Or if you're outside of Tennessee, let me know because when you come, you will have a fantastic experience. So let me start with our old Tennessee State Library and Archives. We had a nice, building. It was a beautiful building, but it has been around for a long time. It opened in 1953. This is a picture of the former State Library and Archives. And I've been visiting the State Library and Archives since I first moved to Nashville and had a lot of memories, a lot of good times here. But it was an old building, right? And parking was not always easy. I think that's probably their number one complaint that they used to have. But all of that is now resolved with our new building. So this is a picture of the old one. So here is the new one. And so when I arrived today, I got out in the car and was facing this side of the building. And as you see, it's a nice, beautiful, modern building. They have these panels up on the side that give you information about the state. So we can see that the state tree is an eastern red cedar. Then we've got the state dog and other information about the state. So these panels are all around the building. Then, I'll try to move this forward. So then this is where the ribbon cutting ceremony happened. There's a nice courtyard right in front of the building. You see at the top, it says Tennessee State Library and Archives. And this place is huge, y'all. It's just huge. Definitely much more space than we used to have. All right. So the ceremonies started at 1 o'clock today, approximately. And this is Chuck Sherrill. He is the state librarian and archivist. This I took a screenshot from the live stream that was done on the internet today. So I actually need to post a link to the live stream because you can go watch the opening ceremonies, well, the ribbon cutting ceremonies. You can watch and hear everything that was done and presented for the ribbon cutting. So you can hear the remarks that Chuck made. We also had Secretary of State Trey Hargett present. Former Governor Bill Haslam was there. Our current Governor Bill Lee and former U.S. Senator Lamar Alexander was there as well. So they all spoke about the Tennessee State Library and how things came to be for the building that we now have and are going to be able to get to enjoy. They gave us a nice booklet for the ribbon cutting ceremony with some infographics in it to give you an idea of all the scope that went into this happening. Our state library had been the oldest archives building in the country without an expansion or a renovation. So we are now no longer the oldest archives building in that state, well, in that condition. More than 750,000 hours were needed to complete the building, And there's a couple of other highlights I want to mention when it comes to the technology. So the new State Library and Archives has robotic shelving space. So we are now the first state library and the second state archives to use a robotic retrieval system. And I want to particularly point out that there is an audio heritage lab. Now, I didn't get to ask about this today, but it's something I definitely want to investigate because this looks like it's going to be space where we can go talk about and preserve oral histories and make audiobooks maybe about Tennessee. So if you have a family connection to Tennessee, a story you want to tell, this might be something to look into. So I'm going to try and find out more about this audio heritage lab, but it's all so exciting. This is a picture of actual ribbon cutting. So Virginia Gooch Watson was the one to do the actual ribbon cutting. She has a very long history with the Tennessee State Library. She was one of the first employees, and she cataloged the first book that went into the old building. So she's got a long relationship with TSLA, and it was great that she was asked to be the one to cut the ribbon. So that's great that Virginia was able to do that. And you can go watch the live stream and, of course, see that. Now, when you walk into the first floor, there is a beautiful lobby with multiple exhibits. There are a number of interactive exhibits, touch screens that you can use. So, of course, we are in COVID, right, in a pandemic. So we're, wanting to be safe and cautious. So, you see they have the hand sanitizers, but you can touch the screens and explore these interactive exhibits. And I wanted to highlight this exhibit in particular because I just thought it was so neat. So it allows you to begin to virtually kind of experience what it means to use the materials at the State Library to help you with your genealogy and family history. And so I actually have a video. There's pop-up screens, things you can drag and drop. So I am going to see if I can get the video to play. So let's see if I'm able to make that happen. So you see she's touching the screen as she builds the family tree. And then there are documents you can pop up in different categories. You can drag, she can expand, using pinch controls. It's just really, really cool. Go back to here. So I just think that was wonderful. The lady who was showcasing this explained that their company they worked with was able to put this together for them after they told the company, what they wanted. They wanted to be able to show documents. They wanted to show building a family tree. So this is a cool interactive exhibit. So when you go, be sure you play around with that. This is Gordon. He is over public services at the Tennessee State Library and Archives. And this is in the main reading room on the second floor. So this floor is very expansive. It runs the whole side of the building that you could see from the courtyard. And they now have a lot of room to house their collections. And then I took a picture of the other side of the reading room, and you see that they have many digital microfilm readers. These are probably my favorite machines in TSLA because you can put your microfilm rolls on the machine and then digitally scan them and digitize them and save those digital copies. So this is what I use whenever I visit the library in order to capture my digital copies of newspapers because I'm very much into newspaper research. So I love that we have these machines, and they had many at the old library, and now they have moved them over here, and we have even more, it looks like. So that is exciting. All right, I also have a video clip that I took of the reading room, so let's see if I can get that here. So this just gives you, a feel for how large this beautiful reading room is. Oh my goodness, I'm loving it. I cannot wait to use it. All right, go back to here. Okay, just a few more images I want to share. All right, here's the new home for the microfilm. Anyone who's been to the old State Library and Archives will recognize this tower. So it now has a new location, and they have their own room off to the side of the reading room. I was able to walk around the building some, so this is another view of the courtyard. I only spent time today in this side of the building. As you see, there is a whole other side. I didn't even get to go over there. So I cannot wait to learn more about what's on that side of the building. There is a grand staircase right in the middle as you come in the lobby. This takes you from the first floor to the second floor. So this was my view as I came down from the second floor, going to the first floor. And as you see, there's a quote that says, preserving the past for the future, because that's exactly what TSLA is about, right? Preserving the things from our past so that we can use them for the future. All right, Shirley, thanks for tuning in. Yes, I'm so happy to share. I had to share this because, again, we have to tell our stories too, right? Now, this was the cool part, I have to say. A little birdie had told me that I was actually going to be in the exhibit. So, y'all, I am in the exhibit at the Tennessee State Library and Archives. So, on the left is me pointing to me in this exhibit panel. This is a panel that talks about Your Story Lives Here, and it talks about the importance of telling your stories and how you can use the materials and resources at the State Library and Archives to do that. This panel faces the rare book room. So if you actually have a chance to go and you go to the lobby and you go to exhibits, look for the panel that's closest to the rare book rooms. This side actually faces the rare book room. But how cool is it that I'm actually in the exhibit? Now, I'll tell you why this picture came about. So I participated in a social media campaign that the Tennessee State Library and Archives did to help raise support and public interest and, thereby, funds for the new building. And I told my story. And this was a scrapbook page that I put together at the time to document that I participated in this campaign and was honored to be asked to contribute a story to help TSLA. So I came in for a photo shoot, at the State Library, and they brought out for me this set of newsletters. And the reason they brought these newsletters is because these newsletters were an important part of my story with the Tennessee State Library and Archives. My last name is Kuntz, and I have a Kuntz surname project. So I research Kuntzes all over the country. And when I first moved to Nashville, I learned about the existence of a Kuntz to Kuntz newsletter that had been put together by a man who is now my friend, John P. Kuntz, and I wanted to go see them. So that was one of my first trips to the State Library and Archives, was to see these newsletters and see what information had been documented about these various Kuntz families. So they brought those newsletters out for me and took my picture, and therefore they were then able to use this picture in the exhibit. Isn't that the coolest thing? So I'm actually in the exhibit. So that's really all I just wanted to share. I was just so tickled to be able to go and be present today. I was actually invited because of my volunteer work with the Nashville chapter of the Afro-American Historical and Genealogical Society. So I was glad that we, had some representation among the attendees today. And, almost from a selfish perspective, I'm hoping that maybe we can use some of the conference rooms they now have, because they have space for so many more people. 300 people can now use the meeting. They have meeting space and conference space for up to 300 people. So that was a lot of fun to be there today. So the Tennessee State Library and Archives building opens up to the public officially tomorrow. So you can actually sign up online for a virtual tour at 1 p.m. Central that Chuck Sherrill, the state archivist and librarian, is going to be giving. And you can see even more than what I showed you. I was only there for less than an hour inside the building, so I know there was much I didn't get to see. So I'm looking forward to watching that tour perhaps one evening this week. But definitely go check it out if you have any affiliation with the state of Tennessee. We are so, we're just in a great position to have the new building as a resource for us and have these new homes for the materials that are relevant to the history of the people and the events here in Tennessee. So I just had to tell my story, right? Because that's what we're supposed to do, tell our story. And I appreciate you tuning in. I know this was kind of long, but I just wanted to share it with you in case you were interested in seeing it. And I will see you next time.